Morning, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Reality Bites. So glad you came back today for part 2 of All We Do Is Win. We talked about yesterday the fact that God causes us to be more than conquerors. But today, for a few minutes, I want to talk to you about how we get into the place of how we become the conquerors that God has created us and designed us to be. Listen, Revelation chapter 12, verse 11 says this: they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Let me say that to you one more time. They overcame him, meaning the enemy, meaning his tricks, meaning his wiles, meaning his oppression, meaning all the things that he does. They overcame him, speaking of the people of God that were there at that time, us believers, blood bought, those that Christ died for. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. So they overcame the enemy by the sacrifice that Christ made, by the blood that was poured, the blood that was shed on the cross. But even more than that, they overcame him. We overcome him by the word of our testimony. That's huge, because that speaks to where you are today and where I am today. Whenever we're in places where we're fighting, where we're brawling with the enemy, where we can't seem to get a foothold, we got to understand, we got to remember that there's an overcoming by the testimony. Yes, by the blood, that's a given. We can say that we've overcome by Christ's blood because that gives us power. There are so many old school songs and hymns that speak about the power of the blood, the power that was given to us, the power that's inherent in the blood that Christ shed for us. That is a given for us today. But today we talk about the word of our testimony being something that gives us power and victory. Listen, I talked yesterday about winning, and I don't want to give you any kind of false pretense, because many of you think that because we have Christ, because we've been promised victory, because we've been promised to be more than conquerors, we think that victory is immediate. Stop the presses. Hold up. It's not immediate. Sometimes you'll get an immediate recovery. Sometimes you get an immediate victory, but that's not always the case. We have to remember this saying. I came across a meme, I guess it was, the other day that says, I'll always win. Maybe not immediately, but definitely. So my victory may not always come at the time when I'm fighting. My victory may not come always at the time when I ask for it, but it comes eventually. And we have a tough time with eventually, because we want right now. We want a microwave solution. We want a microwave KO, but that's not the way God operates. Will you get a win sometimes right now? Of course you will. But sometimes you got to fight out and go all the way. I remember back in the 90s, boxing. Huge boxing fan. Maybe because it was Mike Tyson, not sure. But Mike Tyson often had fights where he won within the first 90 seconds. And sometimes when he fought competitors like Evander Holyfield or people more seasoned, the matches went on for a little bit longer, went on some more rounds. It wasn't just a quick first round 90-second KO. And that's how it's going to be when we fight these fights and when we fight these opponents. Sometimes you're going to win right away, like a Tyson fight, 90 seconds, and sometimes going to be a little more drawn out. When we do that, that's when we have to have stamina to back up the fight. But let me close here. The word of our testimony. What are you saying? What is the speech coming out of your mouth? Did the speech coming out of your mouth predicate victory? Does it predicate defeat? Many of us are pessimists. And so we say things that messes up our victory. We say things that don't have anything to do with winning, but all with losing. The Bible says they overcame him by the blood and the word of their testimony. And the testimony is this: if you've ever been to court and been before a jury or before witnesses, a witness gives a testimony based on what they've seen. So when you and I give testimony that brings about victory, it's based on what you and I have seen. What have you seen? Have you seen God work? Have you seen God move? Have you seen God provide? Have you seen God overcome? Have you seen God heal? Have you seen God bless? Have you seen God resurrect? Have you seen God do these things in your life, on the life of your friends and family? If you've seen it, then that gives you testimony. You now have a testimony to speak into your own life, speak into your own situation that would bring about the fruit of victory. Listen, I'm done for today, but I'll be back with you tomorrow for more Reality Bites. Love you all so much. Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.